This is Dubai Works, where we interview the business leaders making a difference in this great city.
That business with scalability was very interesting to me.
I like building something that has legacy.
Support for Dubai Works is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched in the UAE with their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with their exclusive offer for you. 20% off with the code DubaiWorks at manscaped.com.
For regular listeners of the podcast, you'll be used to the diversity of guests. I think in the last few weeks, we had a startup ecosystem platform, Magnet. We had HR software, Bayzat, and we had a car automotive marketplace, Doobie Cars. This week, we're jumping left field again, and we're jumping into the industry of furniture with someone from the Algarve Group, which is Chattels and more. It's really interesting. You can see by my questions that I'm learning as you would about the furniture industry and trying to kind of bring into the broader themes. We're always looking at positioning Dubai as a business capital with this podcast. So enjoy the conversation. Welcome back to another episode of Dubai Works Business Podcast. This week I'm joined by Adrian Shaw, the CEO of Chattels and more. So they are a UAE homegrown brand belonging to the Algarve Group, bringing unique and authentic designs from all over the world to offer extensive range of furniture and accessories from living, dining and bedrooms. Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So it's a household name. It's a household, no pun intended, household name in the UAE. Can you tell us a bit more about the business and the company?
Yep, certainly. Chattels and More was started 6 years ago as a homegrown brand. The idea came from the fact that we were running a retail business for furniture within the UAE, which is about 20 years old at the time. And we were going to different fairs and had different suppliers. And we could see that there was a market for a different kind of product. So Chattels and More was born from the idea of seeing all this different product in the furniture fairs and the manufacturers that we had on board. And we sort of started the business and sort of did a pilot test invest strategy. And it's become a 7 showroom business now.
Ah, really? Okay. And can you describe what that product was? Do you describe it as premium furniture? How do you describe it?
Well, the business that we had before was very Scandinavian. It was a company called ID Design. And we bought most of the product from Denmark, and we bought some of the product ourselves to try and fit the market over here. And the product that sort of fits Dubai isn't just Scandinavian, because you've got such a mix of people here and a mix of size of homes and apartments. So we saw this product that was suitable for the market over here, and that's what we chose, and that's what we sort of tested, and it grew from there.
Okay, interesting. So I'm familiar of Chattels and More in Malta Emirates, and there was an ID Design there. Where else is the business? Where are the 6 other locations?
Okay, Chattels and More is in Murdiff City Centre. It's in Malta Emirates, as you said. We've just opened in the Keel Mall on the Palm. Yeah. We're in Dalma Mall in Abu Dhabi. We're on the Dubai Sharjah Road, Oud Metha, which is sort of furniture streets in sort of the old part of Dubai. And then we have another showroom that is in by the new IKEA in Festival Plaza there. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's quite extensive throughout Dubai, and you're really specialized in furniture. How do you kind of what's the kind of client and customer that you target?
Okay, with Mall of the Emirates, it's everybody, because you get a real mix of customers coming into Mall of the Emirates. But then you look at the other malls that we have, and they are very different. So Murdiff City Centre is an Arabic customer. sort of 90% Arabic and 10% sort of European expat. And then you look at Nikhil Mall, and again, that's a mixture on Nikhil Mall. So it's a mix of
on the palm, different nationalities.
it is, yeah, and it's a mixture, and you build your sort of your offering for the sort of catchment area of where your showroom is.
Really? So you tailor it? It's not exactly the same in each showroom?
It's not, no, because say an Arabic customer in Mirdif will want a bigger sofa or maybe more colourful products. So you'd pick your sort of best sellers that you have in Mall of the Emirates, and then you'd put those into there to fit that client's needs.
And you mentioned Scandinavia, contemporary sort of minimalistic sleek designs. Where do you now source the products for Chattels and More?
For Chattels and More, we've got probably just under 50% of the products that we sell is from sofas. So that's a big product line for us. And we go to mainly Europe. So we go to Germany, we go to Spain, we go to France. Italy is a big supplier. And then sort of the countries around there. And what we've done over the last sort of 6 years of Chattels and More's life really is have great relationships with the suppliers. And they then will listen to us, and they've grown with us as well over the 6 years, and they'll tailor the products to what the needs are from Dubai.
Okay, so, and do you do any of your own products? Do you have a joinery? Do you make any of your own furniture as well?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's something that's on the horizon that we're certainly looking into. Because obviously Isa Salat Al Gurg, we have a big manufacturing division there as well.
Yeah.
And we're certainly looking at new designs and looking at maybe some cabinets and some carpentry that we can do locally. But everything now is sourced from mainly Europe.
Established brands, well-known brands in the industry. Yeah.
There's some brands that we found ourselves weren't really known, but we've sort of got exclusivity with them now, and they've been sort of mom and pop suppliers and manufacturers, and they've grown with us.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Can you just explain a little bit about Al Gurg Group? What it does overall and the different industries it operates in?
Yeah, sure. Isa Salat Al Gurg was sort of started in 1960, and it's sort of grown over the years. It's a very diverse company, and we have, I think, over 300 different brands and different partners. And we have joint ventures with the likes of British American Tobacco, Unilever, Siemens. We have a big property portfolio in the UAE and abroad, and very diverse from manufacturing to electronics like Better Life, to furniture, to steel production. If you look at all the sort of traffic lights in Dubai, they're all supplied by one of our divisions. So it's very diverse.
Yeah.
But a great business, and one of the sort of well-known family-run businesses in the UAE.
Interesting. So with a group that's so diverse, how do you, Adrian, establish a high quality and competitive furniture store offering that can be as competitive as a standalone sort of furniture company?
I think it goes back to, I mean, I've been in the furniture industry since, it feels like since I was born, actually.
Sitting on sofas from your
that's right, yeah. And I sort of started back in the UK as a warehouseman, would you believe? So I went from warehouseman to salesman to cashier through the ranks. I was one of the youngest showroom managers in the UK. And then I went internationally, and I took the brand that we had in the UK to Dubai, first of all. And that was something like 23 years ago. So we opened one sort of showroom here. So I understand furniture, I understand retailing, and really it's using all of that knowledge to understand the market that we have in Dubai, and then sourcing the right product to fit the market.
I don't understand furniture.
Okay.
I don't understand the market. But when you mentioned 50% of the business was sofas, that seems like a high percentage. I wouldn't assume that 50% of the inventory in your stores is sofas? Is that why is it so high?
It is actually. It is. We are experts in sofas.
Okay.
We are. We do a wide range of sofas, and you can buy a sofa from us from 6,000 dirhams up to 50,000 dirhams. So we are experts in sofas.
Yeah.
But then within the sort of salon or the lounge of our customers, they want the carpets. They then look at the dining room. They then go into the bedroom. And the major downstairs. So we offer everything to do the complete home.
Okay. And how would you describe, knowing with 20 plus years of experience in the Dubai market versus the UK? What are the furniture trends? What's the customer preference points that are different? And what's it like running a business here versus the UK?
Okay. I think Dubai is very dynamic. It does change. So you have to be able to adapt the business to changes that come along. And you have to look at, we talk to our customers a lot. Even with the team that are in our head office, I make them go into the showrooms and serve the customers. And when you talk to the customers, you find out what the requirements are. And you have to tailor that with your buying team, and then look at your price points and look at the offering that you have. So it's all about understanding the customer, understanding the demographics and the catchment area of where your showroom is, and sort of tailoring your offering to fit the customer. And obviously excellent customer service.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's interesting. I actually bought a sofa from your store. Well, I say but my mum did.
Okay.
And she went in and she was...
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mum.
But she was very well looked after. And I remember we were working with a consultant, and a sofa came from the internet, and it wasn't right.
Okay.
So we sent it back, and then I'm really happy with what we got. But it was that sort of experience. It was that sort of customer service and things like that. And it's interesting you say it like that. But how then did the business operate over COVID in terms of the shift to digital? And obviously the malls were closed for a while.
Yeah.
Like how could you keep up that sort of customer service and let people experience the sofa as well?
We've seen a change in the way the customers actually shop since the sort of pandemic sort of started. There's a lot more WhatsApp communication.
Yeah.
There's a lot more chat through the website and through e-commerce sites, and the salespeople have had to adapt to not selling face to face, but selling voice and selling over the phone. Okay. And we've sort of done training programs, and we've sort of we talked about how we can sort of still be a volume retailer for furniture and accessories, but also give that luxury feel of service. And that's what we've concentrated really on since the pandemic started. That's been our focus point: luxury service throughout what we do, and that covers everybody. And from sort of the salespeople to the delivery guys, to the buyers, to the operations, to the finance, how do we give that luxury service? And that's been the goal of this year, to make sure that we're better than everybody else and give the customers sort of that unique shopping experience. Because furniture is considered purchase, you actually think about it a lot, and you talk about it, and it reflects your personality. When somebody comes to your house and sits on your sofa, that's a reflection of you.
Yeah, interesting. And 6 years old, so I imagine that digital was obviously part of the business plan from the start. Furniture is quite visual. It suits images. It suits nice browsing websites. Do you have? Are you able to buy online? Do you have a full sort of digital operation?
Yeah, we have Carre, which is one of our brands, which is a brand from Germany. And we have that as a shop within the Chattels and More showrooms. It's very funky furniture. There's big red dogs, and there's lots of funky sort of items. So we have Carre online, which is our e-commerce site. And we're about to launch Chattels and More online, I think, in the end of next month. Okay. That will go live.
Very good. Okay, interesting. I'm going to jump around a bit.
Okay.
There's retail customers for homes and apartments and things like that. Do you also do furniture for commercial, for offices and things like that?
We tend to focus, I suppose, 90% on furniture retail,
Yeah.
which is through the malls.
Yeah.
We do some export, which goes to Africa and to Oman and places like that. And then we do some projects as well. But the focus is through the showrooms and the service to the consumer through that.
Is that a different business? We're at the moment we're doing construction in a new office, and the fit out company have furniture rooms and showrooms. But I was just wondering, commercially, is that a different business to provide for commercial units versus the margins that you make and versus furniture for homes?
It is very different.
In what
it's
way?
a very different business. It tends to be that the projects tend to want the best price. So the margins are very tight on projects, very tight. And there's always sort of contracts and payment terms and and they want it delivered straight away. So we don't really get that involved in it unless it's a sort of a big client that's requiring it. We do focus on sort of furniture retail through the malls.
So then it's like retail, like selling a car or a phone. And in that case, do you have repeat customers, and what level or what's the customer lifetime cycle with Chattels and More?
I mean, with a sofa, it used to be a 7-year sort of turnaround. People used to keep their sofas for around 7 years.
Okay.
And it's come down now because furniture is a bit like fashion. Yeah, the colours change every year, the styles change. So I think it's come down to about 4 years now. So it's nearly halved.
Yeah.
Which is great for business because obviously you're turning over customers more often. With accessories, it's every year. So you have to be, when you buy the accessories, because they are colour specific and style specific for that year, you have to get them to market as quickly as possible. So it is like fashion. So accessories is a very fast moving sort of buy, get it delivered, get it into the country as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So I mean, the iPhone is out at the moment, and everyone in the office is talking about how often you should change your phone, and the number that's said is 3 years. And so it's interesting that a sofa can be like a car or an iPhone in terms of color and specs and things like that. For the margins on the business, you mentioned that you bring in a lot of the brands, and then you obviously have the retail operational costs. It must be quite difficult it must be quite tight, the margins with both of those things.
I think it's got better over the last sort of 2 years. Dubai has stabilized with rents, and we've managed to negotiate now sort of TOR, which is turnover rent, in a few of the malls, which I think is a way forward because the success of the business in the mall is actually sort of fed into the mall owner. Whereas before they were charging huge rents, so they didn't really understand the business, they didn't really care that much about the business as long as they were getting their rent. But now we're seeing the change, we're seeing the shift, we're seeing reasonable rents, we're seeing sort of change in mindset for the mall owners, which is great for business and great for Dubai as well.
Is it like a partnership then in terms of is it fully 100% based on the performance of the store, the TRO?
Yeah. Okay. And normally it's a percentage. Whatever product you sell, it can be as low as 5% if it's, say, electronics, because the margin's a lot lower on those, and it can go up to sort of 8%, 10% for furniture, and then goes up further for luxury and
I'm smiling
fashion.
Because that's similar to affiliate deals online with Amazon. They have
very similar. Very similar.
And now we'll take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsor. If you're like me and you're always in a rush in the morning and evening, but you really know you should spend more time on hygiene and grooming, then when the product comes along that just works and it's got everything, you really find use of it. And I was like that for the last week when I've been testing out Manscaped. They've got a trimmer, which is the Lawnmower 4, and loads of different gadgets really, and different products such as deodorant. I suggest if you want to try it out, we've got a code, it's 20% off. You just use Dubai Works code on the Manscaped website. They asked me to spell Dubai Works. I think you'll manage that, and let us know how you get on. And now we're back. But then do they need to audit your books, and is it very transparent on your performance? And do you find that incentive alignment works? Like, do you find that you that your team are as incentivized to sell as before, or more or less?
I think the team are a different sort of
motivators are different.
Yeah, it's a different way of sort of looking at the business for them. But with the showrooms, I think the sharing of success with the malls works really, really well.
Okay.
And it helps grow the business, and you do share all the information. I mean, now we don't really sort of look at the market as a whole, as furniture market in the UAE. We look at it more along the lines of what's the opportunity in the mall. So if the furniture division in the mall is doing 300 million a year, then what's our percentage of that 300 million? And how can we grow that percentage for the mall? You know, and similar with standalone stores now, we look at the catchment area, we look at the opportunity that's there, and what does that mean to us? And that gives you more of an idea of sort of the targets and how much you should be doing as a business.
Yeah.
And it works very well.
That's really interesting. You know, it's probably more harmony between the unit and the mall in terms of, you know, rather than saying, hey, you need to do more marketing, you need more footfall here. It's kind of like, well, you're not just thinking of your unit, you're thinking about the customer behavior, the mindset they have. Why would they choose to purchase a sofa in a mall versus in, a different type of a unit, a warehouse or something like that, or online? So you're thinking like a mall owner as well as a furniture.
Definitely.
Okay.
And it works both ways. I mean, they look at driving footfall into the mall, and we look at driving the footfall from the mall into the showroom. And you talk to each other. Our marketing department is fantastic at doing that. And we use influencers, and we use a lot of sort of digital marketing now compared to before.
Yeah.
A lot of Instagram, a lot of Facebook.
Yeah.
And we work hand in hand with the malls to do that.
Yeah.
And that works really well. That
Interesting.
works really well. Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast about Architects Digest, which is over 100 years old.
Yep.
And they have a really hit show on YouTube with, I forget the name of it, but it's something, it doesn't say Architects Digest, it's something about your home. And it's like, celebrities and influencers show off the interiors of their home. And it is all about nice sofas and things like that. So there's huge demand in the digital space to consume content around interiors. Do you see that as well? Do you see people, after they get their nice sofa, are they tagging Chattels and more, and are they're really trying to show off what their nice home looks like?
I think it's grown. I mean, it really sort of a lot over the last 2 years to the point where we're at now. And we've sort of used or collaborated with influencers like Huda Katan, Fazaza, and we've done makeovers in their sort of spaces. And it works really well because you get sort of a broad spectrum of customers, and it's more targeted as well. And then they can then contact us and come back to our Instagram account or come through us to our website. And on the website, you also have chat, which then goes straight through to the salesperson. And the salesperson will then talk to the customer and then bring them into the showroom, because online, especially with furniture, online and sort of the bricks and mortar showroom work together. It's not sort of one or the other. They actually work together. And a customer might look online and see some product and the husband talks to the wife, or the wife talks to the husband about it. Then they come into the showroom because they want to see the color, they want to sit on it, they want to see the size, and the salesman can then take them from the website all the way through the process and give them that luxury service that we're offering.
So it's a proper sort of hybrid, digital bricks and mortar.
It is, yeah. It is very much with furniture. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Adrian, what's the furniture industry talking about? If you go to maybe virtual, but if you go to hybrid type conferences at the moment, design conferences, what are the key topics? Is we see chip shortages is talked about in manufacturing. Is the price of wood or the price of furniture very high at the moment? What are the what are the current sort of industry things?
I think logistics is a big topic at the moment with everybody, with getting the product into the country.
Okay.
It's
still an issue.
Yeah, it's still an issue with delays rather than it not coming. So we've had to flex our business and build up a bigger stock within the country. We were quite lean before, but now some of the suppliers are sort of saying, okay, if you order it now, it's going to be with you in 6 months, where it used to be 4 months. So we've had to build a sort of an extra amount of stock in the country to allow for that. And business is booming at the moment, obviously with Expo here and the new changes with the visas. We're seeing a lot of people coming into the country, so there's a lot of new people buying apartments and moving into apartments, and they all need furniture. So you have to make your business flex to account for, okay, there is a delay, but what do we do about that delay, and how do we get the product in, and do we keep more product and make sure that we're not out of stock of the product that sells.
Is it simply supply chain logistics? Because I can understand if showrooms, if the automotive industry can't get cars in because the chips aren't there to make the cars. What's causing the delay? Is the furniture not being made at source, or is it's actually things like the Suez Canal, the Evergreen, the stock is
blockage.
The blockage. Like, is it logistically like there's just a backlog of things to ship around the world?
I think it goes back to small sort of problems that are caused from COVID, like the chemicals that go to make the foam. The foam is made in 2 factories around the world, and there's a shortage of the chemical, and then that means there's a shortage of the foam. So the foam that then goes to make the sofas is not available. So that all causes a backlog, and it sort of builds into a bigger sort of problem when it gets to the showrooms or to the end user. So there is problems there. There's problems with having the craftsmen to make the product as well, because they were in quarantine or there was only half of them working. So that slowed everything down as well. So I think we're just seeing sort of a backlog from before, and I'm sure it'll pick up and get better, but we just had to flex the business to make sure that we could accommodate it.
And you alluded to sort of a new type of clientele, a new type of customer, but obviously even in the gym this morning I heard people talking about working from home and moving to a townhouse versus an apartment. It just Dubai seems to have changed. Everyone seems to have moved out a bit.
It does, yeah.
Obviously good for furniture. So did your business thrive during lockdown, and do you see that people are really sort of buying more houses here, and do you benefit from that?
We are actually. During lockdown, it was, I think, because people were, and our customers were at home, they were seeing the walls and they were seeing the furniture, and they were spending a lot of time at home. They decided to change it and decided to upgrade it and buy something new. And they weren't traveling, so they weren't spending the money on holidays. So they were renovating their houses. I was talking to a customer yesterday in the showroom, and he's just come to Dubai from Boston, and he's moved his family here and he's moved his business here, and he's bought a villa, and we're furnishing in his whole villa. And he said that Dubai is one of the safest places in the world for him to come. He's brought his kids here. He says great schools, and he can run his business from here. So he's brought his assistants with him, and that's a change. That we're seeing a change there. But because of Dubai and obviously everything that they've done over the last year, it's made it the place to come and settle and bring your family and buy furniture.
Ultimate furniture. But it is quite exciting for those of us who've been here for a while to see that different type of, the different things that need to happen for people to be aware of Dubai, to be aware of, the lifestyle that you can have here, the diversity, the different cultures, the opportunities as well. And then, love hearing stories like that, because, how did that American businessman choose Dubai versus all the places in the world that he could, move his family? It's a big thing to do. So it's really interesting. Do you have any view on, or the landscape of the housing and the real estate? Do you know like where your showrooms are? But do you know that, are there any up and coming areas that, developments are open, therefore you see a lot more customers from that space, and does that then decide of where you go next?
Yeah, I mean, we always look at the development of the area. We look at the catchment of the area. Are the customers there for us? We try and be in malls, because the mall generates the footfall for you. We've just signed a 20,000 square foot showroom in Reem Mall in Abu Dhabi. That will open in March.
I didn't get it earlier. Are you already in Abu Dhabi? You have one.
We have one store
Yeah.
there already. That's a bit further out,
Yeah.
and Reem Mall is right in the centre.
Okay.
So we're going for a big showroom, and I think Reem Mall will be like the Mall of the Emirates of Dubai, but it'll be the Abu Dhabi version because they're putting a snow park in there. It's a big mall, and you know, all the other furniture shops are going in there as well. So it'll be a nice place to go and shop for anything to do with the home.
Yeah, that's a big space for a showroom. Is that bigger than your other spaces? Or
Mall of the Emirates is 30,000 square foot. Yeah.
Wow.
So we flex between 10 and 30,000. That's sort of the footprint that we need because we have sofas. Sofas take up the space.
Yeah, true.
And you try and do a room setting. So when a customer comes in and they don't really know what they want, they look at the room and think, okay, that can fit into my house or that can fit into my apartment. You know, I'll buy everything that's there, and you give them the inspiration and the ideas.
Yeah. Again, it's big space for a mall. Like it's it's interesting that you choose the malls like that. How competitive is the furniture space with your competition? And do you know what your market share is?
We know our market share per mall,
Yeah.
and I think that's the important sort of figures to look at and to look at how you can improve it. Competition, we are pretty unique in what we offer because we are focused on sofas, and that is sort of where our expertise is. Where sort of the other furniture retailers sort of either focus on accessories or focus on bedrooms or focus on something different. Yeah. And the price point that we have is sort of mid to upper. But when you walk into the showroom, we always talk about curiosity. When you walk into our showroom, it's got to sort of make your senses sort of tingle in a way, and to see different products. And the showrooms are always changing. We change the windows every 3 weeks to make it sort of different and to draw customers in. And the products that we buy, we don't tend to buy a year's worth of stock. We tend to buy stock that will sort of one container of sofas in one colour, one container of sofas in a different colour, to make it a bit more unique as well. And the offering's not the same all the time. So when you go in there, you go around and you go, oh, it's different. It's, it's different colours, or it's different styles, or it's different feeling.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you have a curator? Is that someone's role to make the showroom look attractive and exciting?
Yeah, we have designers in-house. We have visual merchandisers. The visual merchandisers work very hard. In fact, the team in the showrooms, they're sort of one of the key areas that we focus on, and we've looked at developing over the last 6 years, and to keep them happy as well, because it's not an easy. I mean, I've been there. I've been a salesman on the floor. It's not an easy job, It's long hours. It's you're on your feet all the time. So it's looking after them and making sure that they're happy and making sure that then goes over to the customer as well.
And are you, in terms of your team, do you look at career development plans? Do you look at people? Obviously, you're a case and example of someone who can become an expert in the furniture industry. Is that something that you see some people aspiring to, or and is that something that you look to create as well? Yeah,
I mean, I built a team when I first joined Isa Salah Al Gurg, and the team has grown with me, and we have a lot of people within the business that have been there a long time now, and they've grown through the business. So I think that's very important as well. It's not just you come into work; it's you come into to grow as a person and to grow into the business.
Interesting. Yeah. And so, what are the other trends that you're seeing? Are people looking at the labels and looking for where the cotton was made, or how sustainable the products are, and also how digital homes is becoming more and more of a thing? Is that something that you have a view on?
Yeah, I mean, sustainability is in Europe is very, very big. Here it's sort of it's coming along now. And the suppliers are sort of looking at how sustainable everything is that they make, and I think that will come up in the near future with us here as well. And whether it can be recycled and reused, and what we can do. Can we take the sofa back? Can it be recycled and here's a new sofa? I think we'll go down that road. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of innovations digitally and technology as well, like room planning. You can actually plan the room through your iPhone or through a tablet now, and just ways of getting the information to the customer rather than coming into the showroom. But at the end of the day, they still come into the showroom because they want the touch and feel and to see the colours with their eyes, and see the fabrics with their eyes.
Yeah. And so if you went to a fair, if you went to the design fair, are they having it in D3 soon?
Yes, they are, yeah.
And if you look at the furniture there, are they the trends that you will see? Are you seeing more? Is there anything I'm missing? Is it more about sustainability in terms of materials and sort of more modern, sleek designs and digital, or is there anything?
I think the fact that we are going more like fashion now. They are bringing in the colours of the season and the styles and the different things that come with fashion.
Camel leather, our designer was telling me about.
And that makes a big change to how quick the turnover of the furniture is, because it is quite a long process from the research and development to the design to getting the product out. So they're having to speed the whole process up to keep up with the change in trends. So I think I travel I go to Cologne, I go to Paris, and I go to Milan and manufacturers, and I see the new styles when I go there. Obviously I didn't last year, but this next year I'll be going. And Milan is the big one because that's very Italian. It's very sort of ahead of the rest of the sort of furniture manufacturers, and you see the new styles and everything there. Sometimes when there's been a shift, say there's a recession or there's like the pandemic, then they don't tend to put so much into research and development, so there may be not so many new styles. So let's see Milan next year. Let's see what happens, whether they'll just sort of reinvent products that they have, or they'll be bringing, I think it'll be a mixture of both actually. I think there'll be some cutting edge products and some changes.
Speaking of that, obviously that's furniture design and people can be specialized in product design and things like that. How, as a career, as a vocation, is it something that, is it hard to get into? Is it, a poor man's relation to fashion design, or is it something that people are really kind of looking at now and wanting to be furniture and product designers?
I think there is, even locally, you see now there's a lot of designers coming up with their own furniture products. Some of it's beautiful, and they use the best woods, they use new designs, and they're trying to look at what people need in their houses and to fill a segment that maybe is not there already. So I think as designers for furniture, it is very much like fashion now, and it will grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just a balance between what they produce and the price that they charge, and get into sort of volume to maybe getting the price down, to whether it's a niche product or it's a volume product.
And would that be a potential threat in terms of if someone, digital native vertical brands, in terms of if I'm a designer, I can sell direct to the customer. Is that something that you see as a potential threat?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we'll work with them and maybe they have a pop-up in our showroom, and it will complement the product that we sell, because people come to the big showrooms for selection and choice. So, if I'm buying a sofa, I want to see a number of sofas before I make my choice. So I think we'll always be sort of attracting the customers to come in and choose.
And you can partner with those designers and bring in
very much so. Yeah, very much so. It's a win-win situation for both then as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, Adrian, what about the region? We talked optimistically about Dubai. Expo is opening. I'm sure there'll be lots of trends and innovation in all industries that we'll see over the next 6 months. But, the different type of developments and the number of developments in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi is attracting people. But also in Saudi Arabia, there's a lot of developments happening in Riyadh and Jeddah. People are thinking of living there as well. Is that on your horizon? Will you have a showroom in Saudi Arabia in the future? You don't want to reveal it?
I do. We're just going through the process now because the business has been so successful over the last 6 years. And we've sort of got market share and sort of not saturation yet, but we're in the key areas in Dubai. We're looking at a franchise model for Chattels and More as well. And because we have
that will allow global expansion.
It will, it will, and that's great for a homegrown brand, you know, to do something where you can expand across the world. And we have sort of exclusivity with our suppliers as well, which means that they are tied into Chattels and More, so we can sort of grow and take the business overseas. So that's very exciting.
Interesting.
Yeah, very exciting.
But in terms of Saudi in particular, and even Egypt, you know, because it's this region and it's sort of neighbours, would you do that franchise model everywhere, but would you focus on maybe getting the first partners in this region?
I think this region is the important part, because it's close to home. It's easier to sort of do the training and get to different countries. I mean, on the sort of the wish list, we've got Saudi, we've got Kuwait, you know, we've got Qatar, we've got Bahrain, to look at those areas first. But I think with Isasal Al Gurg, it is all about relationships. It's how the other partner will fit in with us and how we will fit in with them. So we'll look at that as well and understand that the partnership works together, so that we can grow the business together. Okay, brilliant. So we're almost out of time. If you were advising anyone who's listening who has had a sofa for maybe 4.5 years, what's the first sort of thing they should do? And maybe, you know, maybe they have a bit more surplus income at the moment. What would your years of experience in furniture, how to be sure that they get a nice sofa? Comfortable. Try the sofa, I mean, we always, with the salespeople, they'll always ask the question, they'll qualify with the customer what they actually need, even if they don't know what they want. So we'll talk about whether you have kids, whether you have pets, how big the area is, and what do you want the sofa for? Is it just to look nice, or is it to be comfortable and to sleep on at the weekends? You know, watch Netflix for watch Netflix, and what sort of color palette is already in the room, or are we starting again and we can choose a color palette? Interesting. Well, thanks so much for your time this morning. Thank you very much. Very interesting to learn about the furniture industry, and we'll follow Chattels more closely. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks very much. Thanks. So there you have it. Adrian says that furniture is like fashion, and we need to be changing our sofas every 4 years. Good to know. 3 more years to go, and he's got me as another customer. Well, that was pretty interesting. I liked hearing about the new industry as usual, and Chattels and More. It's always good to hear about homegrown brands expanding abroad, so wishing them all the success. And Adrian, clearly someone who knows the industry inside out, so I hope you found that conversation interesting. As always, thank you to our producers, Shahir Al-Kindi, who looks after all the assets and distribution and guest management. And if you are founder or CEO, or if someone in your company is that would like to be interviewed on Dubai Works, please do get in touch. hello@smashy.tv, and Shahir will arrange the podcast. And Ali Baba, who's the production person who's making this thing sound and look good on video, please do subscribe to the podcast wherever you do get your audio podcast from. And then if you would like to watch this or any more of the Smashy shows with Hala's daily show and the shows from our team in Saudi Arabia, please do subscribe to Smashy on the web browser or also on any of the apps. You get a 7-day free trial, and looking forward to bringing the next show to you next Thursday.